Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. She resided with her cruel stepmother and two stepsisters who treated her poorly. Despite her kind heart and gentle nature, they made her life miserable. Day in and day out, Cinderella was forced to do all the household chores. While her stepsisters wore fine clothes and enjoyed a life of luxury, Cinderella toiled away in rags. She swept the floors, washed the dishes, and never had a moment's rest. Her hands were always busy, and her heart was always heavy with longing for a better life. One day, a grand announcement echoed through the kingdom. The king had decided to host a royal ball, and everyone was invited. It was a chance for the prince to find his future bride. A royal messenger arrived at their doorstep, blowing his trumpet to gather attention. He handed over the king's invitation, which was adorned with golden seals and elegant script. The stepsisters squealed with joy, their eyes sparkling with excitement. They danced around the house, already dreaming of capturing the prince's heart. Cinderella, with a glimmer of hope in her eyes, asked if she could attend the ball. But her stepmother laughed cruelly and said, "You can't go! You don't have a dress fit for a royal ball." Heartbroken, Cinderella was left alone in her tattered dress. She sat by the fireplace, dreaming of a life where she could be free and happy, far from the cruelty of her stepfamily. As her stepsisters left for the ball in their glittering gowns, Cinderella waved goodbye with a heavy heart. She sat by the fireplace, tears streaming down her face, feeling more alone than ever. A small mouse, one of her only friends, tried to comfort her. But even the tiny creature's efforts couldn't lift her spirits. Suddenly, a bright glow filled the room, casting a magical light that chased away the shadows of despair. To Cinderella's astonishment, a fairy godmother appeared, holding a wand that shimmered with enchantment. She smiled warmly at Cinderella. With a wave of her wand and a sprinkle of magical sparkles, the fairy godmother transformed a humble pumpkin into a magnificent carriage. The mice became elegant horses, and Cinderella's rags turned into a stunning gown with delicate glass slippers. The fairy godmother then gave a gentle warning, "Remember, my dear, you must be home by midnight, or the magic will disappear." At the ball, Cinderella captivated everyone with her grace and beauty. The prince, in particular, was utterly enchanted by her presence. As she entered the grand palace, the guests gasped in awe at her radiant beauty. She seemed to float across the floor, her gown shimmering under the chandeliers. The prince approached her, offering his hand with a charming smile. They danced together under the glittering chandelier, lost in each other's eyes. But as the clock struck midnight, Cinderella's heart raced. She remembered the fairy godmother's warning and knew she had to leave before the magic faded. In a flurry of panic, Cinderella fled the ball, her gown billowing behind her as she ran down the grand staircase. In her haste, she tripped, leaving behind a single glass slipper on the staircase. She didn't stop to retrieve it, fearing the magic would vanish any second. The prince picked up the delicate slipper, determined to find the mystery girl who had stolen his heart. The next day, the prince and his guards searched the entire kingdom, trying the slipper on every girl they encountered. Many tried, but none could fit the delicate shoe. The stepsisters pushed and shoved, eager to make the slipper fit, but it was no use. Finally, Cinderella hesitantly stepped forward. To everyone's amazement, the slipper fit her perfectly. The prince, overjoyed, knew he had found his true love. Cinderella and the prince were soon married in a grand ceremony, and they lived happily ever after, proving that kindness and courage always win. They waved to the cheering crowd as doves flew into the sky, while the stepmother and stepsisters looked on in shock and disbelief. And that's the magical story of Cinderella, a tale of hope, magic, and the triumph of good over evil.